This conference will now be recorded.
All right, let's call the meeting to order, January 13th. Monterey Select Board, 5:31 PM.
Oh, there's Jeff.
All the members of the Select Board are present here in Town Hall, and we also are joined by the Finance Committee. Roger Tryon's here in person, and Jeff Zimmerman's on the internet. Jeff, are you there? Can you hear us? Can we hear you?
We can see your name, but we have not heard from you yet.
How do we know it's him?
It could be someone else named Jeff Centerman.
No.
Who do you think would be did it
Or
into?
maybe
Or Jazz. There you go.
I don't know if he's on the West Coast or New York City.
So, Jeff, chime in if you, we're getting some docs.
There he is.
Here.
Hello.
Thank you. So the meeting.
Hello. Sorry about that.
No worries.
We just need to come up with kind of a schedule for the budget and our joint meetings together. And Roger can also go over some of the meetings that won't be joint full meetings of the boards, but departmental meetings with individual members of the Finance Committee and Select Board. Want to kind of just walk us through that so that everyone is aware of what that looks like?
So, I'm planning right now, some of, I know Frank's gonna be away, and so some of it, I'm currently planning around him, Frank still being in town, so the first, the second, the third, and the 4th of February, I'm planning on, having pretty much all of the meetings in those 3 days. Some of it is based on, the scheduling is based on what staff is actually working. Like, for example, the tax collector is here on Tuesdays, so in the morning. So we'll have the tax collector and council on aging assessors are usually here in the morning. But then in the afternoon, I was hoping to do I have to talk to them to get it coordinated, but the police department on Monday, the fire department on Tuesday, and the highway on Wednesday, later in the afternoon. And for example, also the building
This is
department.
next week?
No, the week after.
The week after.
Actually, two weeks.
2 weeks.
Two weeks,
It's
two
first
weeks,
week in February.
first week in February.
Okay.
So just kind of planning that. Were you being around? I thought that was a day,
There's
I thought it was in the end of January. You
uh,
weren't gonna be around. I just want to double check. So.
one Monday.
So there wasn't, and I'm trying to, there were a few departments that I just have to double check.
Monday the 26th.
Okay, so
I'm around.
So like, I have to check with, like Kevin West, if he's in the area, because I know he does a lot of traveling. I have to work out some stuff with Linda Thorpe on the cemetery commission, because I don't know like what her busing schedule is for the day, so.
But you'll try to get almost
I'm trying to get
all of them done
everybody in.
in those 3 days.
The vast majority of everybody will be done in those 3 days. And the rest will be sort of out and about over the course of that. And usually what we do is it's one select board member, one finance committee member, if we can make it and do it that way. And that's kind of where I am at this point. And I'll be meeting with them the last week of January and meet with them, with the bigger departments, and talk to the other departments as well. I've already gotten, the Board of Health sent their spreadsheet back, the treasurer, the accountant has sent their spreadsheets back with whatever changes they have. So we got a few of them back already. So it's the same setup that I had last year. It's a spreadsheet that shows the previous 3 years of budgets and expenditures, shows what was appropriated for the current fiscal year, the highs and low of those the three full fiscal years, and then looking to see what their budget is gonna be for FY 27. So it's the same spreadsheet as I did last year. That's how that works.
So Jeff, are you in town on February 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and or would you be available remotely at all? It's okay if you're not. I don't think I'll
I
be
am
available.
in town. I
We
am
can,
working, I'm working the 3rd and 4th, but I am in town.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it better in the afternoon or better in the morning? If you're working.
The second I have a lot of flexibility. The 3rd would be better late in the afternoon, as with the 4th. I also have flexibility on the 5th.
I can make any of those times
Okay.
during the day.
Sure, that's great.
And then check with Steve.
I'll check in with Steve too. So he said he's flexible as well when I spoke with him today. So. But you're kind of,
I would probably do anything if it ends up being after 4:15.
okay. Alright.
But I don't know if Frank's in town.
I'm in town.
I have a few blackout times on various
Yeah.
days, but I can just tell you what they are,
Yeah.
like standing.
I come back for the town meeting and then stick around Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday and go back.
Bigger picture, annual town meeting is Saturday, May 2nd. So if you haven't already, please put that on your calendar.
In the morning, 9:30, so what do you do?
9:30. The select board should probably target Tuesday, April 7th for signing the warrant. If it doesn't get done that day, that's fine. It could happen that week, it could legally happen the following week, but
It's always better.
I think it's better to set a target date of April 7th. Which basically gives us February and March to meet, talk about the budget, ask questions of departments, make changes. Given that it's really a couple of months, I think we should probably expect to meet about every week, which is usually what ends up happening every year anyway.
Okay,
Uh,
just FYI, this is not a scheduling thing, but I just found out about it, but from what I understand, the school may be experiencing a huge increase in medical insurance
Yeah, I heard the
costs.
same thing.
Yeah, like 30%.
What?
Yeah. Like triple, like
Yeah,
not
the
triple digits,
healthcare
but high double
state.
digits. And from what I've heard, the towns in the eastern part of the state that have already gotten numbers are having, well,
I thought,
hysterical fits, as you might imagine. So I'm just like, I don't know if we have any heads up, but it,
I reached out to Wendy Terrell, who is our Maya representative, and asked her to give me sort of a general number, and she said, plan on 15%, think about 15. Yeah, think about 15.
I mean, that's bad enough, but wow.
Better than some of the other towns I know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering how, but we may get hit anyway, because if it hits the school,
Yeah, on that side.
right, it's gonna come through that pipeline instead.
We should probably I could reach out to Kim and tell her what our schedule for the budget is and remind her that we need the budget by a certain time.
as soon as possible, yeah.
The school-
I'll
school
send
budget.
her an email.
Definitely final by the very latest at the very end of March.
Yeah.
Like final, because what happened last year was we put our warrant out, we signed
Yeah,
our
we had
warrant,
to adjust it in the
and
meeting.
then they said, here's your final budget mid-April. So
So I should ask for a preliminary budget.
as they change, so they do the same thing that we do,
Right.
and they meet periodically, and they have subcommittees that meet,
Mhm.
and they develop the budget. And if we can get real-time updates about the draft numbers, we can keep those as part of our considerations. But we need the final budget by the end of March.
Mhm. Okay.
And they did have like, I got that they had some legitimate issues because of ongoing contract disputes and stuff. I don't know whatever happened with the busing dispute.
It ended up going to do for.
It did.
Yeah,
I think.
But just be aware, also, if for some reason they don't have it done by the end of March, they need to tell us.
Well,
We had a big miscommunication. We thought that a draft budget was the final budget.
I'll send her an email, ask for updates, tell her we want a preliminary number. I'll take a look at the calendar no later than sometime.
Who's the Kim?
Kim, she's the school representative for the
Okay,
town.
so this is the school and part of the.
Yeah. Okay, we take the numbers. It's a non-negotiable number.
Yeah, it comes in two pieces. It comes in an operating piece and a capital piece.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
whatever, to cover the way their budget is.
So we won't meet the weekend of February 2nd because there's gonna be a lot of budget meetings that week. But I think starting February 10th, if it's, does 5 PM on Tuesdays work for the finance committee?
For me, it would be more like 5:15. I usually run till exactly 5 and then just to get out of the house and down the street.
Yeah.
If we could make it 5:15, that would be better because I often have somebody from 4 to 5.
Okay, well, why don't we do 5:30 so that you're not
Hurry.
rushing?
You use the restroom in the middle there, yeah.
You can get a drink.
That's kind of you. Thank you. I appreciate that. So when are we doing that? Beginning on the 10th?
Beginning on the 10th, every week, finishing out February and March, Tuesdays at 5:30.
And would it be like a 5:30 joint and then a 6:30?
Well, it'd be a 5:30 joint, and whenever we're done, the finance committee can adjourn and we'll keep going. We can expect roughly an hour, 5:30 to 6:30, but there may be weeks where it's shorter.
Maybe weeks where it's longer.
The 17th will be bad for me, folks, but you can meet without me.
Okay, yeah, we'll just, I think, unless we have a real consistent, scheduling conflict, we'll probably just meet, and if people have to leave or drop out or not be at 1, we'll just keep that, rather than trying to find new dates and times every week.
I agree.
You want me to, just throw that meeting into the calendar?
Yeah, as long as it doesn't trip up.
I was-
Like, don't post the meeting notice, but just, that calendar.
The event, yeah, not the agenda, just, yeah, that's what I was going to do.
Yeah, no, you got it. So we'll do 5:30s for those 8 or 9 weeks, depending, starting on the 10th. In advance of the 10th, wait, which day is it, in February? Yeah, in advance of February 10th, we'll really start the budget meetings fully. There is some work that can be done on the capital plan, for instance. So I don't know if we want to have a joint meeting a couple weeks from now as well.
How up to date would you, the capital plan you said today, like, are all of the departments likely accurate on there, or?
Yeah, because I don't think there's really been much change in any of those. I did realize as I was looking at I know I sent it out, and then I was like looking through it, and I was like, oh, there's some things that should have been updated, so I added some, I just printed out something. Just, I added, because I realized that like the new vehicle, the new international CV wasn't on there, the 2024 one, and I kind of shifted some stuff. So this is basically, this is how it looks on the highway department, which is the most active out of all of them. I don't really see anything. I went look through and didn't see much change in some of the other departments.
So
And this includes all of the vehicles on highway.
One thing is we've got a new highway superintendent, as you may well know, so he's just learning all of our systems. It's only been a month or two, and it's been a busy month or two, so this isn't his proposal, this is basically working from our prior one. But right off the bat, I'm realizing we only need 3 mid-range wind trucks. That newest one, the 24, should replace the,
The 16 technically.
should
So
replace
the 16 is working on the
But
23.
16.
but didn't we receive the one most recent truck in 25?
It was bought in 24 and it took us a while to get it.
Yeah.
And then it sat through most of 25, getting upgraded.
But
It's-
my point is, if we didn't really start using it to 25, and we're putting it on a 5-year replacement, it should be 30.
It is.
but there's
But we-
always a delay,
I know there's a delay.
so there's gonna be a delay on the next one, so we should, if we're gonna use the 5-year plan,
Uh-huh.
we're gonna need to be thinking about putting it on the town meeting warrant 5 years from the town meeting warrant on which it was on, right?
Mhm.
If we use that plan, I'm not saying we have to stick to it.
It is currently listed, that vehicle is currently listed for FY30.
Okay, yes, I see what you're saying, yes.
And I see the 16 doesn't have a replacement, so that works.
No, it's right
But I
now.
think we should almost
Almost what?
take it off.
It was there more as, just informational purposes.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we had to put some money, we were just short on vehicles, they've been in the shop, we, like the Freightliner, which one, I forget which one, it was the 21, one of the Freightliners was out, it had, issues, it had electronic issues, it's been sitting for at least 3 months waiting for parts, they may get the part this week. There was a problem with one of the other ones, I can't remember what it was, but now the Chevy, the brand new, what we call the boss truck,
Mhm.
the 4-door red truck that we just bought, that's out of service right now. It's having electrical issues.
That's not the first time it's had electrical problems.
Yeah, so it's like the battery, basically the battery was discharged.
It just, yeah,
And so they,
Pete had problems with it.
yeah, and so they realized it was, they thought it was an electrical issue with the switch at the door. And they fixed that and they were still having problems with it, so they think there was an issue when they put the box on the back of it, so they shipped it back to that manufacturer, which is, I think, in Westfield or West Springfield or something. They've shipped it over there, and so, we're waiting for that, so we have just enough trucks, and the 16, they've been used, truck 16, they just kept the flatbed on it, and so they've been using that as sort of the, to come and run. Sheldon uses that to come to town hall and clean stuff and go to do maintenance here and there and things, but, so.
So when you get all done, the 16 will go, so you'll be down to the same number.
Yeah, probably after the winter, we put some money into it to see how it goes. I know Alan Howell, the highway superintendent, has his own thoughts and philosophies about the vehicles, which, you can talk about, but probably the 16 will end up going. We just had to get it going because we didn't have enough plow trucks at the time. So we only had like 3 plow trucks that were out and we got that one.
Yeah.
And now there's four trucks that we have actively working when you include the 16. So, because the Freightliner's out. One of the other, there was a problem with one of the international CVs too. Just can't remember what it was.
Yeah, so, and does the town have, people they can call to help them? They have in the past?
No, we don't have that right now. No. I will say, Roger, that there was a little while at the beginning of the winter that I was worried I was gonna have to go get my physical so I could drive the 550s, because we only had 2 people and only 1 person had a CDL. So I was like, oh my God, what am I I'm gonna have to start plowing Poopie Road.
So my main questions for Alan, I guess, right at the end of the day, is this truck 20 that's due to be replaced as part of this budget cycle, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah.
Can we buy it with chapter 90 funds?
We'd have to find out if it's within the weight.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Well, can we just figure out, and then if it is, can we do everything we need to do to it? Put the plow on it, put the sander on it within that same chapter 90
Yeah.
money? Because if that can all be taken care of with chapter 90 and that's what we wanna do, it's a very important piece of information.
So the chapter 90 money is not just for the roads, it's to buy.
It's for the roads, but you can buy equipment with it. And they're very specific about what kinds of equipment you can buy with it. You can't buy, you didn't used to be able to buy a 550, but they lowered the weight. So now you can buy a 550. And some people will tell you, and there's some good reasoning behind it, that the money you should really use on road projects, on improving directly on culverts. We have an excess of it. We built it up over the years. So what's our
A
balance?
little over $1 million right now.
Yeah, because the roads have been neglected in the last year. So we got some.
No, but it's not going back a year. It's going back 4 years, 3 years.
What's that,
The chapter 90 balance.
It just
It's been building
accumulates.
and building for 3 or 4 years.
'Cause
Despite road projects, but I just
Or
wanna point out
before
that,
even.
yeah, but like, you know, the work that they did on Fairtown Mountain to fix that section of it was over $1 million. Like, we didn't pay all of that, right? Because we got a grant, but like, that money can go for one project, like,
John, it can be gone in a minute.
right? Exactly, and we've been being really good about getting different types of grants to underwrite and the culvert grants that are available, and you know, Boston knows how bad things are, and there's a lot of
Right.
communities that are struggling to do it. But I absolutely think we need to know if we can, but I also think we'll have to balance the decision about whether we do against what else we might need that money for.
Right now we have $1,045,000.
I mean, another question for Alan is, what state is truck 20 in?
Okay, that's the Ford 550-20.
Yep.
And that was purchased in 21, okay. So that truck is 4 or 5 years old, not 5 years old now.
I just find it ironic that the older trucks are running newer trucks.
Yeah,
I don't know what to say about that, except that,
Yeah, he said the body on the 16 was in really good shape. It's like it wasn't rusted at all, there was no problems with it, so which is why we decided to put some money into it to get us running.
So it would be nice if Alan could assess the roads in this decision-making process to see, and Alan had told me that he thinks we're a little behind, and I said, I know we are, because we just haven't done that much of that. We have crack sealing we can do, we have, and we need, if we're gonna maintain our blacktop roads, we have to know what state they're in.
it may be hard for him to do that assessment with this weather, I don't know.
So in,
Can he?
Yeah, he can.
On the blacktop, maybe he can, yeah.
so the most recent, over the past 18 months, we fog sealed Blue Hill Road, we paved Art School Road, we fog sealed, we will be fog sealing Sandus Field Road in the spring after the project. And we're crack sealing, I think all of Pixley Road. There was a couple roads, there's like three, and some of New Marlboro, there's like 4 roads they were crack sealing.
But is that also Winter Road, the RAP program, Winter Road Assistance Program? Sometimes covers painting lines, crack sealing, fog sealing too.
Yeah. Winter Road.
I think you do.
So
WRP, because we've used it. Yeah, and so that can do some of the,
Assistance program.
now the crack sealing is super expensive, so you blow a lot of money there quickly.
Yeah, we've done that. We've done line painting. We just did some line painting too in October. I think we did all of 23.
I think it's abnormal, I don't really know, but I think it's a little bit abnormal for towns to build up chapter 90 money like we've been doing.
Yeah.
I think most towns get the money and they have projects and they spend it.
well, but I mean, without Jim here for the last year, they couldn't be.
When Jim was here, we had the same thing going on with chapter 90 funds. We were building it up.
He
It's
had
not
a plan
just-
for it, but I don't
He
know what
did-
it was.
He did have plans for it,
Okay.
but I'm just telling you, this isn't, just because we didn't have a superintendent. It's
Okay.
been something we've done in Monterey for whatever reason.
Right, okay. Well, it's nice to know that the money can build, so, you know, it's time to use it or lose it.
And I don't know if there ever is a lose it part of it.
That I'm aware of.
No, I don't remember reading it. I read
Cause you
it.
think
On the
eventually,
I read it, you know, on the website, it'll tell you everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Tell you the number of miles in which you do it.
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
so the fog sealing is the sand and the oil treatment, right? Is that what they call fog
I believe
sealing?
that's what they.
there's actually, I think, a few different ways they do it, but basically they put down some kind of liquid, and then sometimes they put down sand on top of it.
I know that, I don't know exactly which one they did, but I know that when you can select it through the bidding process, there's a Berkshire Regional Planning Commission has their own bid process, and there's different types of fog seal that you can select.
Okay.
And that, when you do that, so. But,
So, eligible wrap costs include rehabilitation, reconstruction, resurfacing, or preservation of roadways and appurtenances, including sidewalks and bike lanes or paths, repair or replacement of traffic control devices, signage, guardrails, and storm grates, and road striping or painting. Like rehab, reconstruction, resurfacing would probably include a bunch of those things, like crack sealing.
Well, we've used it,
Right,
I
yeah.
think we've used it even the last year too.
And the RAP program has an apportionment thing
Yeah,
on there.
and that stands for what?
Winter Recovery Assistance Program.
Winter Recovery Assistance Program. It's very catchy, RAP. Not everybody comes up with a good acronym. Let's hear it for your memory.
Are there any other departments, Roger, that stick out? I don't think we're due to buy a police cruiser this year.
No,
The
no,
only other thing, there was like 75 for equipment in the fire department.
I'm sorry, what was that?
There was 75,000 for fire equipment.
Yeah,
Not,
there was
not
something
for
in there.
FY 27, there's nothing.
So that's all.
I know FY 26 there is, but not FY 27.
Nothing really
There's zero in the
kind of
FY 27 column.
stood out. Fire had, the FY 26, they had stuff for turnout gear and all that,
Which we did.
which we did that sort of stuff. They had some stuff for that Sylvan Road water cistern they had talked about. The next time they have anything specific were our, some hose, which I think they actually still have money. I have to talk to them because I think there's still money, still appropriated from some previous town meetings for hoses that they were waiting essentially on the fire truck.
Truck, but they want to get hoses.
Because they were doing the whole coordination of that. So that's about it with that, highway equipment, highway other.
The cruiser next year, but not this year.
So there's one truck, likely one plow truck that we need to figure out.
Possibly, yeah. And I think that, I've talked to Alan and Sean also, just to kind of get a feel for how things were in the past and how things, what Alan's, and that 5-year life cycle is a conversation to have for between both of them, said that, 5 years is okay, but it feels a little short. So, if you're taking care of your vehicles.
Yeah, and I think.
Well, I think if you kept the 16, could you stretch it another year because you would have backup equipment?
I think we could.
It sounds like
I think we have to
they're on
have a
that plan.
discussion.
I think
When you
that's,
start hearing 15% increase in health insurance.
Yeah.
And other than those 550s, the other 4 plow trucks have been delivered since 2020.
yeah, there's a lot of equipment.
2022.
There's a lot of
It was like
equipment.
And the
boom,
dump
boom, boom.
truck and the tractor.
Yep.
They're all new.
I mean, sometimes
Get
you
Alan
just
to
space it
think-
out another year, just so that when they come to again, it's not.
Get Alan's
you know?
Well, the only thing that we kind
Well,
of luck out
yeah.
is these Freightliners are scheduled for 10 years.
Yeah.
So it doesn't
Right.
completely ruin the staggering. Otherwise, the staggering would look
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
worse. And the dump truck is, we scheduled for 20 years, and the
Yeah.
tractor is scheduled for 20 years.
And that dump truck hardly ever gets used as a vehicle. They rarely use it.
Why?
except for big projects,
Right.
so it's.
Well, we don't sand and salt with it, we don't plow with it.
Yep.
So we sometimes pick up material.
That's about it.
Yeah, and I
It's
think,
just for picking up
yeah,
material.
when, if, I don't know how much longer lease pile over there is all we're gonna get.
Yeah,
And so from then on out, that's what the 10-wheeler will probably do with haul.
Yeah.
You know, you may get it trucked in. I think the trucking costs are about $200, to get it from Tomolino's. I'm paying about $200 a load.
Mm.
So,
Just for the trucking, not for the
Just for the
contents.
trucking.
Yep.
so that's what the town can figure.
Well, snow, how, this is not related, but how are we doing with salt?
good. No
Do we
problem
have
at all.
plenty of inventory?
Yeah, we're pretty active on that. There was a bit of a burp last year.
Yeah, I
When it
remember
started
that,
running
but
out.
I mean,
But everyone had that problem last year
yeah,
with the supply.
There's a little bit with the supply. Our issue actually had to do with the memo, the message to deliver salt got missed somehow. So they claimed, we supposedly called on our side and we got missed on their side, which kind of led to a lot of panic for a little while. But it's all fixed, yeah, we're getting regular deliveries. They call regularly to get salt, sand, gravel delivered, for road maintenance. For salt and sanding.
So one thing I would like to mention or discuss is I think that the town highway guys should be fixing up that building over there. They should be in charge of managing it, painting it, hiring people to do it. But a couple of years ago, there was money appropriated and it never got done.
Yeah, it sat for about 8 or 10 years.
Right.
So we
that's-
let it fold back in.
Right, but the town highway is capable of buying trucks and deciding exactly when they're focused on something, they can do it, and they can focus on this issue. It's not rebuilding the building, it's re-siding where it's rotted on the bottom. It's painting the lower part of the new salt shed, which is flaking. And they can hire a painter, or they can do it themselves, or whatever, but they should be in charge of that building and to not run it into the ground where it costs us $5 million to buy a new building.
So Alan is who would be in charge, really, right?
some of the, we'll get some priorities that want to go through the budget.
Right.
Establish some priorities.
Yeah, we've talked a little bit about that, Alan and I, about things that are going on there and things that need to be upgraded and such, so yeah.
It's pretty soon buildings get down so far that people say they're,
Toast.
and then we can't do that.
It would be preferable not to.
And I think we should put the ball in their court because it's their building and they should be kind of in charge of trying to take care of it. We can help. They can fund the money and get the work done, but it's gotta be done.
I agree.
I
It's a building.
sort of feel like we need to have an inventory on Valley Galley too.
That's something that, Pete and I started that, shortly, like in the spring. We went over there and had a conversation with, Peter and Anna, and got a list of things, but then it just became, it didn't recognize
Gotta
at
do it
the
to
top.
bottom.
So, I have talked to, there were a couple things that I just said to Peter, I said, go find a contractor, get it fixed, just then send me the invoice. And, I believe that Alan, I don't know if he's met them yet, I haven't taken them over there yet, but the plan, and I've talked to Alan about that, there's still, I think there's, $34,000 or something like that in that account to fix things up. So I think that's what the next thing is to kind of just go in there and find ways to help them and get that upgraded, so.
I mean, I know there's a lot of competing priorities, but
Yeah.
it's another issue where the building will be great if the things aren't fixed.
Yeah.
And I wonder how feasible it is to put money in this year's budget for that, for the highway garage or Valley Alley. Only because we have a new highway superintendent who is in charge of all the roads and all the buildings. And the transfer station,
And he's been here a month.
and he's been here for a month, and it's been the thick of plowing. And so, not to say that those things aren't all important, but that might be a conversation that continues on to next year, and we say, okay, we need $50,000 to paint and do rot mitigation.
Yeah.
And this year it's just, we usually ask for capital requests in already by January 1st.
Yeah.
So if there's something obvious that comes up, sure.
Right. Well, okay, and I think it's important to inventory the bill and find out what it needs, because I don't even know from the distance, but it doesn't look good.
We need it for all the buildings too. And we have some money for town hall, and we have some money for Valley Alley. And the highway garage looks bad from that, yeah, it definitely could use it. I know a lot of the other buildings are new, the transfer station's new, the library's new.
But doing that inventory would be good, and maybe starting the repairs on the ones we already have money set aside for.
Yes, I know the town hall, it's hard, because we didn't have a superintendent.
I'm not being
Yeah.
critical, I'm just saying, we do have the money set, and it
Yeah.
can be a priority for the coming year, since we already have money set aside, and it's important that, like, he is new, and there's a lot to learn and a lot to know, but if we don't put it out there and make him aware of, and maybe we have to set what the priorities are, because he's only one human being, he can't, right? He's not gonna come up to speed equally on every issue.
Sure, I
So-
think we can give them help, we can.
We might just need to set the priorities, but to at least put it on the radar screen that is an issue.
But one thing you'll notice about the capital plan, if you go into it, which I don't, Roger, you print out all the pages, this is just the highway. A couple of years ago, we tried to do a much more thorough capital plan. And it's better than it was, but it's somewhat incomplete, so we can continue to work on it. Instead of just having the highway trucks and the fire trucks, we added town hall roof, town hall copier, finishing the basement of town hall. If you go to the town hall page, there's a bunch of,
IT, like IT
Dreams.
materials and stuff.
but, we can use that too, the capital plan, to plan for roofs on buildings, boilers. What, did you say we need a new boiler in town hall, did you say?
I didn't, no,
Okay,
no.
You fixed it last year.
I
right?
fixed it, I had a little duct tape and, you know, a couple paper clips, you know.
These are role models.
The good old fashioned way.
And then he kicked it, just to make sure it would work.
Couple hamsters,
No,
we're all set.
He said some prayers and then left the room.
Pretty much, that one day, pretty much.
So, you know, the library is new, it's 6.5 years old now, believe that. And I hate to tell you, but things are going. You know, we had a water heater went, the hot water or something in the sink wasn't working, so we had to replace. So it's like, that was one sink and there's like four, so, and they're independent hot water heaters, you know, instant on. And the one that staff uses there, and that, it went, all of a sudden, just Mark noticed a little leak and, yeah. So they're just, it's constant, and you go, this is brand new.
Actually, that makes it more vulnerable.
Yeah, and then so you replace.
Planned
the-
obsolescence.
Yeah, you replace this thing, and he was just telling us last night at the meeting, he replaced the water heater, right? And he had plumber come in and they're working on it. And so like it's the same thing, you think. Well, the pipe was like, needed a little, like 2 more inches. And then the electric wire that goes to it, that isn't, so he has to get an electrician in. It's just, you know,
Never.
it's just not, you can just pull it out, and put it back in again, even though it seems to be the same thing. It's just, you know, so the model changed a slight bit. It just,
Yeah,
it's
it's a lot harder than
frustrating.
it seems.
Some group of kids in Italy, engineering students, just, I don't know where I saw this, like about 4 days ago, designed a car that is designed to be completely repairable by the owner without a ton of equipment. Every single part is removable and replaceable. The engine parts,
We
the
used to do
compartment
that.
parts,
We used
yeah,
to
no,
repair things.
but they did away with that. The
Yeah,
whole
now
point
you
is
just-
that, yeah, it's like repair to the next level, right? And like, I know, people are starting to fight back against planned obsolescence, and I'm all for it.
So, and as far as the emergencies go, Mickey, what we are looking for too is a list of expected expenses in the next 15 years.
The only one we could come up with is painting the building in like probably maybe 10.
Okay, well, we should add it. It's on here, but there's no number associated. So if you could come up with a rough estimate of what is, not tonight, but down the road, we'll add to the capital plan that in FY 36, we want $50,000 for painting the library. But other than that, we're not expecting a lot of planned expenses for
No,
the next.
no, and because we did bring that up last night, it's just, there's all these silly things, and that's just one thing, or two plumbing things that just.
What we have on our capital plan for library is roof, parking lot, heating, cooling, and siding painting.
That would be on here, yeah, because it, when furnaces are gonna go, I don't know what their lifespan is.
What, it's a propane?
It's broken.
Oh, it's just, um,
And then every department, same thing.
It's in,
Are there any other questions about scheduling, capital plan? Do we want to meet again in a couple of weeks? With everybody?
well, 2 weeks will be,
The 27th of January, and then 2 weeks after that would be February 10th when we're really starting.
yeah. Yeah, I mean.
So do you want us there? Do you want the finance committee there on the 27th?
Well, the select board will continue to meet, but that's what I'm asking is, do we want to meet together in a joint fashion, or will it be premature? I think there are things to figure out, talk about this truck for the plow truck for the highway. Maybe Alan could be at that meeting, maybe.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of big capital, which would be some of the things we could discuss before we get into operating. But, we could talk COLA.
that was my hand up.
Goal is the next one.
You read it right off my fingertips.
So maybe we should just say we are gonna meet, because we should talk COLA at the very least, and we can also do capital plan and other things that are not tied to all the operating.
That'd be 5:30, right?
5:30 on January 27th, Tuesday.
All right, and will you be talking, Justin, will you be talking with Steve about all of this so he can figure out how he wants to organize Roger and me?
Heard?
Yes, that's very important, Joe. That's a very important question.
Yes. I will email Steve, I'll email everybody to lay out the whole budget season schedule. Tentative, all the dates, all the times.
But I
And
think
then-
you might want to have a strategy conversation with Steve so that he can organize the three of us, because we can't really have conversations with OML. So it may make sense for you to have a strategy conversation so that the finance committee comes to these meetings with whatever meetings we've had to have in preparation.
I hear you. Now, that makes more sense. Yeah, I'll talk to Steve. As far as the actual budget meetings go, my expectation, the joint meetings of select board and finance committee, what we've done in the past few years that seems to work is we will, instead of going line by line, trying to fully discuss each item, we'll read through the whole budget, just like you see it on the town meeting warrant. And any item where anyone has any questions or issues or wants to make a motion that we move it up or down, we'll flag it. And then we'll usually have about 10 to 30 or 40 lines that are flagged. And then we'll move through the first meeting or two, we might not get through all of them. But then as time goes on, they kind of naturally narrow down. And then we can always add questions that people come up with. Thankfully, this year we don't have a ton of capital to also factor in, so that simplifies it. But I'll talk with Steve about all that, because it's also helpful to know who's chairing the meeting, who's really gonna take responsibility for one at a time talking. So I'll figure that out with Steve.
Social
Okay.
Security lists their 2026 COLA at 2.8%.
Who does, sorry?
Social Security.
What's the other one we usually do?
Okay, the CPI, Consumer Price Index, was 2.6 for 2025. But the estimates for 2026 range between 2.6 and 3.5.
On the CPI?
Yeah, on the CPI.
And
But, you know, it's January, so
Yeah.
who knows, right? Like, I mean,
Social Security was for 2026?
yes,
Yeah. 'cause it-
that's
right,
starting
right.
this, that's 2.8, last year it was 2.5.
I said 2.8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you said 2.1.
sorry, I'm looking at a screen that says 2.6, but that's the
And the
CPI.
town for in 2025 had a 4%, and last year it was 3%, so you've been above those years.
And I think last year we set a tentative 3% early on, and then we stuck with it.
Yeah.
And someone has an Excel spreadsheet somewhere, maybe Roger. If you wanna update last year's, so we can see what a percentage point
Of
cost
all
for
the staff.
payroll.
Yeah, I have that.
I wanna say it was something like. What was it? I shouldn't say numbers, cause they'll be wrong. So we can figure out if it's 2%, it will be this, if it's 3%, if it's 4%.
Pretty close, I think it's pretty close to that.
So each percentage point is like $10,000 or something, roughly. But that's not exact. And there are some other raises that we don't wanna consider separate from COLA. So, and we don't have to make a decision on these tonight, but just to make you aware, in our highway department, there's a parity discrepancy because we honestly struggled to find people to fill vacancies and hired new people at rates that don't really jive with existing people. And also, there's existing people, that's less the problem. There's existing people that have been working for the town for several years and they're working at rates that aren't really competitive in the marketplace. They're a little bit low.
The foreman position and.
The foreman, I think the labor position
Yeah, the
too.
labor, it's not. needs to
And
be-
that may be true of other positions and we're just unaware of it, you know, it was really obvious to us because of the need to hire.
Well,
And the recognition that, not that I'm like thrilled, let's
we
have
should
more money.
take a look at like the administration, the community center manager, Annabelle, those kinds of positions, and have a list of those positions and what their hourly rates are. That's where the community center got upset last year because there was discrepancy in that. There can be reasons that there are discrepancies, but we can talk about that, but it's good to have an information sheet with those lists in.
Actually, you wanna just do all the salary rates?
Yeah.
On a page and then the COLA,
I'll put that spreadsheet back together. I'll update it with the 20 by 26 payroll. And it has that variable you can punch in to show, we gave everybody 2.5, everybody
What would
3,
happen, right?
what would happen? So,
The other thing I would suggest as we get into the fire department, you and I have shared the first quarter of the numbers for the fire chief and assistant fire chief. I have them and I can share them with you.
First quarter or second quarter?
First quarter, from July to into September.
Okay.
And there was quite I don't know what it is, but budget, I'm not gonna try to explain it now. But he has it broken out because you have to go to the payroll system and it's not a clean, thing. I can send it out to you. Here's the numbers, so you.
Now that we're done with the second quarter,
Well, I asked him to send me the general ledger today. I met with Chris last week. I have all the expenses for the fire department by the different categories in the spreadsheet. I went over that. But we need to take a look at labor. That's where we need to spend some time. And of course, it's our biggest expense.
Right.
But we
And that's
need
why I
to-
think it's worth having.
The second quarter will
visit.
be interesting to see if that one trend on that.
That's exactly what I'm
Well,
thinking.
on the call, I don't remember what we budgeted for calls, but it's pretty high for the two individuals. So I'll send it out in the morning, so you just have it. I'm not asking for opinions, but you can see.
Yeah, no, I got you.
In addition, Roger, if it's easy, or if it's doable, in addition to listing all the rates of all the employees, so we can just check on parity and things like that, could you have Sarah do the same report that she does for the town report, but just for the first 6 months? Just as earnings by employee? Because
Some of it,
there's some stipends and stuff that that's not gonna show on their hourly rate.
this is the way I had the fire broken down. This is their salary.
Well, I'm just saying for all the employees.
Well, yeah, and then there's the Kelly rule, then there's calls.
But his point is that.
Earnings will
Wider
just
question.
show
Yeah,
everything,
earnings
so
shows
how much
everything,
money
right.
is that
It wouldn't
employee?
break out why, but it would at least give us a.
So you wanna see the earnings of.
Yeah.
the
Earnings by employee for the first, if we do 6 months, that's easy, cause it's half a year, so that would be July to December.
Pretty close to that.
So I don't know if that if she'd be able to do that, because it's not a warrant, it's not a monthly report, it's what Harper's will produce it.
The payroll side, yeah. Yeah, okay, I think it's doable.
Cause
I've seen some reports in there for that, or earnings reports.
she does it for the annual report, we just need a 6-month version.
Yeah, and when you do the police chief, because he gets paid to come in on, at night, right?
Yeah, or whoever is on duty.
Yeah, but Brian told me he's been the only one on duty.
So I don't know lately,
No, he
You-
was,
it always
I
was
thought
that.
Melanie may do it because she moved in town here. But he told me last week he's been doing it.
He has been doing it regularly, when he went away,
Uh-huh.
he went away on vacation, I think she did it then.
Yeah,
They kind of shared.
Right. the other thing is when you look at police, can you look at the amount of overtime the two police officers have made? Because there's gonna be it'd be interesting to see what this, when I talked to Brian, you have this opportunity, I think everybody's working towards Melanie's gonna, move to Texas. And it'd be interesting to see what our overtime is, and then as we're looking, what is the schedule, full-time schedule, I don't personally believe Brian will have a hard time filling Melanie's shifts the way it is, 3 days, two shifts Saturdays, 2 Sunday, and 1 Monday.
You do or?
I don't think he'll be able to fill it that way.
You don't think he'll be able to?
fill it,
Right, I
yeah.
thought you meant the opposite, so I'm.
So I think if we could take a look at what their overtime is,
so an earnings report will give you a little bit of insight into that too.
Yeah, okay.
The only thing I don't know if it's earnings report includes details. And that's a question for Sarah when she draws it up,
Yeah, that's the thing.
which is different.
Yeah,
but-
I mean, he gets stuck, it's just like the fire,
It's not confusing sometimes.
But it's different, if someone's working details, that's out of their own volition.
Yeah.
And if they don't work it, someone else could, versus covering a shift for the town
Uh-huh.
as the patrol officer,
Right.
that could be burnout.
Mhm.
If people are working
Well,
too much.
I didn't forget to Brian, but we talked about a whole range of subjects about schedule that work, he talked about finding part-time people, could he do that versus that? There was one part of the conversation is, well, you go to a regular 5-day a week, you have one person that's filling in for vacation. Does he add a person because he can reduce overtime? He has an opportunity here, and I think he's really opened it up to think about how can I do this? Because his part-time, historically, in the last 18 months, his part-times have basically disappeared. They're not working.
Which, and, there's a lot of reasons.
And that's not gonna, there's a lot of reasons
There's a
we
lot of
talked
reasons,
about
not
that.
just us.
There's a shortage to begin with, you have to have 800 hours of training, which before part-time people didn't have to have. So, if we separate out, we can take a look at it.
I mean, we
And
can
then-
complain about it, but I wish the ice people,
Wish what?
the ice people had training. Here, have a gun, go shoot you.
And then another thing that might come about in the future is that the police our EMTs as well. So that can take the pressure off the fire company.
That will be an interesting discussion.
It will.
I think it's a good idea.
Where's that discussion being had?
Oh, I've had it on one-on-one people, I haven't been out.
Well,
Well, Melanie
it makes
has some
sense to-
certification in the
But also be aware, not to get into it too much, but if you're an EMT, you have to be working for, you have to be reporting through an agency.
EMT.
As I understand.
All right.
Cause I read a directive lately from, OEMS, I think it was, and when a high school has a game,
Mhm.
they can't just hire Frank Abbott and EMT. They have to hire the ambulance squad, and you're working for the ambulance squad.
Mhm.
And it all comes back to reporting and accountability,
Mhm.
and EMTs on their own, you have to be working through an agency.
Okay.
Right, so if you have this certification, I know that with the fire guys, even if they have the certification, they technically can't do the work of an EMT unless the house has EMT.
So they talk about that, Chris talked about trying to get the certification and getting the doctors at Fairview to sign.
And I'm not sure what they
But they
do
can't get
in
them to sign.
Sheffield, I don't know, I know that a bunch of the Sheffield people act as, well, they're first responders, right? Because they're not turning out, the fire department doesn't turn out for that, and typically the cops are there before the ambulance because they're closer. I don't know if they have EMTs or if the EMTs are able to work,
Well,
you know, the police are able to actually act as EMTs, I don't know.
well, it makes perfect sense because the police officers don't have a lot to do in town.
I'm not saying it doesn't make sense, I'm saying we would have to have, the
Right.
town would have to have EMT certification, not just the officer.
Yeah, but then, well, I agree.
Anyway, however it can be worked out, the fire company has EMTs. So it's something that makes sense, and police officers can make more money, we pay more money. But it would allow more people that want to volunteer for the fire company if the pressure is not on them for the EMTs.
I see what you're saying.
So I think we have people that we pay to be here, and if they had additional training, they would get paid more per hour, and it could be a win-win situation. We just gotta figure out how to
Once the
do it.
house is, or some type of certification, we can maybe do that.
If I can just jump in here for a second and put a plug in for a pet peeve of mine. Over the last few years, it seems that we've tried to fix some of these issues on a kind of case-by-case basis. Not that we haven't worked hard at it, we've all worked hard at it at different times. But my concern is that as the governance leadership changes in the town year to year, with different people potentially on different important committees, that we don't have a structure in place that can really develop a 3-year plan, let's say. So that what happens is we wind up, in my experience anyway, we wind up saying, this is the problem today that we have to fix, rather than really outlining how are we going to make the modifications, so to speak, in our house over the next few years, so that it's more organized, rather than saying, oops, we got to repair the furnace. Oops, their screen door broke. Oops. And we just keep doing things more kind of as the need arises, rather than having a kind of comprehensive strategic plan for all of our emergency services. So I'll just put that out there. I don't expect it's going to be handled tonight in the next 1 minute or whatever we have left. But I would again ask the select board, as I've done before, to think about maybe creating some organization that's not dependent on, a particular cycle of select board members or finance committee members or what have you, but that can really develop an ongoing strategic plan for emergency services in this town. Because I think it's just going to be a matter of time before we have a sort of catastrophe that we were unable to address.
Okay.
I didn't mean for that to be a conversation stopper.
So we'll meet again in 2 weeks?
Yep.
Yes,
At
I'll be on Zoom.
Okay.
Alright,
Be prepared to talk about cost of living adjustment, capital plans, and any other pre-operating budget items. All right, so I think the select board's gonna keep meeting.
You're welcome to stay, Roger.
All right,
You're
finance committee is adjourned.
All those in favor?
All right,
No.
aye. Thank you all.
Good seeing you.
We have a quorum of ex-finance committee members present,
Exactly.
the former members.
X, whatever.
You were on the phone.
No. My husband talked about running for it, but he decided it was better if we didn't have the 1-2 punch and
Oh, yeah,
he Concom said, so that's.
Yeah, because Jeff's term is up, right? Is that in town? Jeff?
So, I think his is, yeah, I think so.
Jeff's term's up.
Yeah, Jeff's is, yeah.
Is he re-upping? Does anybody know?
I've heard.
So what's up next? Could be you.
There you go. Slide back into it.
No comment.
I think that's a no.
I said no comment.
So employee handbook policies, we had, I don't know if we have
I
any
did not-
follow up on the grievance.
Oh, I was, no,
Yeah, you're gonna
I
be,
did not have any follow-up.
do you want to greet it?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Anything else that? we
I have
need
a
to do?
few that I worked on today and I'll like.
Yeah, you told me that.
hopefully I'll have
I
the
asked you
last
about
one
it,
done
so we'll
for-
do the contract.
There's a couple I wanna run by Donna. Do you want me to run it by you guys first or run it by Donna first?
Right.
Cool.
Discussion.
Yeah, do we wanna do the contract for Colin?
Yeah. Yeah, Nikki.
Can I just ask a question about the handbook policies? I know that Mark as department head has seen a lot of the things, but I know that things like payroll and sick time and stuff, those things haven't been finalized, or they are? I don't think he's gotten those.
I don't think we changed, when was the last time we changed the payroll policy?
I mean, I meant, you know.
Payroll
in
was
with
the
the
weird
pay,
one.
you
Yeah, I
know,
know.
the paid time off and.
Oh,
The
she's
paid
like
time off
vacation,
one.
yeah.
I don't know if
Important
we have
ones.
or not.
Yeah.
We didn't distribute
Once, I mean, you know, it makes a difference to how we
Well, I think we were waiting to.
figure
put
out.
everything
all at
together,
once.
all
I
together.
think
So-
it's a way to do all of them at once, but we're almost there.
Yeah, you have the, if you have the final that we agreed on for the paid time off vacation, we could always just send it over.
Do you want me to resend you like the whole
Yeah, whatever.
pile of approved ones?
Yeah, the whole file of proof, you can send that, yeah.
So there's one thing that's
I
weird
did-
that I
I did
wanted
talk
to,
to-
two
send it
things
tomorrow.
that I had questions about.
It's in like a couple different.
One is- These say the exact same thing, and they have two different rates.
So I'm sure it means junior.
Right.
Did you mean vacation, sick time, personal time?
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
what's-
in order to figure out the budget, we do need to
Yep,
have some ideas of
the
those.
other phrasing that was weird to me
And I
was,
think I have it, but I'm not sure if it's final. And
Are you leaving? Are we not interesting enough? We'll see you in 2 weeks?
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
Okay, everybody. Yeah.
this is worded, it almost sounds to me like despite the hourly thing, they're saying that we owe them that, but I'm not, that was our maximum, that wasn't what we were saying, like, I'm just,
Yeah, they usually do project-based.
so we just do it, so, I don't know.
We have, yeah, I think just we need some clarity on, is it project-based or is it hourly? And one or the other needs to change. Exhibit A. That, like, exhibit A isn't part of the agreement. I don't see where it's mentioned.
Where is exhibit A?
This is exhibit A.
Oh, okay.
And so it's probably a mistake, but we really should clarify I'd sign it either way, but we should know.
It's not, is it ever listed in there?
No, sorry, it is under professional services. It's agree to provide the professional services described in Exhibit A.
Hey, right, okay.
So when under payment, it's not mentioned, but it is certainly a cause for confusion, so let's just clarify that and sign that at the next meeting.
Two different
As long
associate,
as it's not.
two different associate rates is one like a jinger and one, it, like, that's what we're assuming, but it's weird that it's.
Well, I remember from their old
Right,
contract how it was listed, but yeah, I think those are big enough
two
ambiguity.
different senior associate rates and, is it, at the end of the day, is it project or hourly?
Or hourly, and if it is purely hourly, the project payment of $3,000 should be removed. So you wanna communicate that with them, and then we'll put it on, I'm not sure if we're meeting next week. We're definitely meeting the following week.
Yep.
But we'll do it then.
Okay, which, you know, by that time, we may have the packet to actually send it, so.
Oh, yeah,
Right. Because we don't have, there's only like 4 left.
Oh,
One
yeah.
of them is the definitions, and also, and this is an important question. The social media policy,
Mhm.
I feel like we had a conversation about it at one point, it's 10 pages. It might be 20, but it's definitely 10, and I'm like,
And you can count the number of employees that read everything.
I mean, who would? I wouldn't, like, you know, like, I totally would get anyone who didn't wanna do that, it's,
Is it balancing your right to free speech with don't post as a public official
pretty much, yeah.
or on government time?
Yeah, 10 pages, right, like, and here's all the, you know, here's what we expect, here's what counts as a social media website, here's what, like,
Well, I think we need something, but if you can,
I gotta tell
Trim it.
you that I have no idea how to trim.
well, sometimes you just have the terms and conditions. It's very long and
And nobody reads it,
but
it's
it's
there.
very
Right.
accurate.
So, I mean, and if that's what we have to do, I just wanted a heads, like,
Yeah.
I am definitely unsure what could be cut from this.
Well,
But I
sometimes
also
it
hate
takes,
it,
sometimes to be really clear about, cause someone will say, well, I didn't know Reddit was a social media.
Yeah.
So I posted, you know, whatever on that, cause
Which
it's
is
not
just,
social
at
media.
this point, BS, because it totally is social media.
Well, so, no, but
Chat rooms count.
but the internet has developed in the last,
Yeah, right.
since it's been invented, and it all is always changing, so it's probably.
It's out of date the minute it's printed, but whatever, we gotta do something.
Do you want me to send you links to the two? Cause I
Do
have
what?
to
Two
two
short
different
ones?
social media ones, one, the odd thing is,
These-
one is 6 pages and the other's 3.
Send me the 3 page, well, sure,
They're
send them
diff-
both to me,
They're
but,
different. but-
yeah, I'm sure they're very
Are they
different.
municipal?
Yeah.
And are they municipal in this state or?
Yeah, and this, okay. Yeah, I'll send you.
Sure, I'll look at them, I mean, at the end of the day, like, it may be easier to just accept the 10-page one and figure out,
But it's there,
but it's there.
it's there, and what says it there, nobody read it ever, but it's there.
I read it.
Well, I'd rather a long, clear policy than
Yeah,
something that's ambiguous.
Yeah. You know, they don't say.
Yeah. so what we have left is whistleblowers, workplace injuries, and social media and definitions. And my fear is that the definitions, who knows how many definitions I missed that were in all the policies we've already done, because I didn't think something needed to be defined. But that may be something Lindsay has to pick up on, because at this point, I don't know.
I think
what
we're doing the
else.
best we can to get it out July 1, effective July 1, and we're hiring them for help and.
Yep.
Next up, mail-in ballot option for town election, so Amanda reached out to Roger and I there will be absentee ballots available as per usual, no matter what. We don't have a say in that. If you're homebound or overseas or I think you can request.
Yeah.
I
You have
forget,
to request it for
All the
absentee ballots, you have to just request
for,
for whatever reason.
in the last 5 years, there's been more mail-in across the board, which, for the state and federal elections, I think there's a little bit more, the state helps administer that to some degree.
Yeah.
I'm not very familiar with the process, but there's, if we don't wanna do mail-in ballots for the town election, we need to opt out. I think is how it
Yeah,
works.
Is there any
That's
reason we wouldn't wanna do it? Because I know we had a lot of people that chose to.
Yeah, I don't know what the numbers are. I think some towns opt out because it's extra work for the town clerk. I don't know how much extra work it is. I don't,
Maybe they have to ask them.
if we wanted to consider it, we'd have to ask. If we just say, nope, we want mail-in ballots across the board, then we don't opt out of it. It's just a new thing in the last couple of years.
Right, that we have to make that choice.
That we have to make that choice, and I think some towns have opted out just because of the extra work for the town clerk, depending on how many people are gonna use it, and it's the absentee ballots are there for the people who absolutely need it, so if that's, we can either say, let's figure out more and consider, or we can say, nope, we just wanna do it.
I'm all for doing it. You have an opinion, Mickey? I'm curious.
I am for having mail-in ballots. I like to come and vote in person, but I do think that you should have that option.
I think you should have the option.
Okay,
I mean, I kind of feel like more participation is better.
Yeah,
That helps
but
people
that's my
participate.
point, is you can get, 10 more people to participate, that's better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the most I've seen participate is about.
And it just means that they can.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
can, they don't have to.
And then it gives them even less excuse for not.
I think one of the issues they run into is what is an absentee ballot then? I don't know if it sort of eliminates the need for an absentee ballot.
so, and I don't,
And I'm not certain.
to be honest with you, I'm not fully clear on the whole process. I know with the state and federal, I got a letter that said, do you want a mail-in
And I
ballot?
think that's what this alludes to, is that you have to register to get a mail-in ballot that they send to you, that you get sent. I think that's where it's at.
You have to
But like she's
request it.
saying,
Which is ironic, because it's exactly how an
Yeah.
absentee ballot.
I
works.
think
But
the way
it
they
says
register,
informing the residents that they may register for vote by mail. So you go in and you say, I want to register.
Just
as a
like-
voter.
but I think we might need to, I think we might be compelled now to send a letter to every voter.
Yeah.
Asking if they want
If we do
a
mail in,
mail-in ballot,
which is expensive.
which is, I mean, and I guess that's why some towns say potentially, no, we're not gonna do that. If people need absentee ballots, they can get absentee
So
ballots.
do we need to ask the clerk to
We
explain
can.
to us whether or not,
Well, where's your email?
what it would cost, like,
Yes.
how much more will it cost us to do the mailing? Because I agree that if we have to send something to every registered voter to tell them that they have the option to opt into this,
That's what she's saying. If the town
Oh,
plans, this is from her email.
okay.
If the town plans to allow vote by mail for the annual town election, I will include a note on the annual town calendar, which will be mailed with the census forms, informing residents that they may register for vote by mail if they are interested. If the town would like to consider opting out, I can instead include the date of the required public hearing on the calendar. So you have to have a public hearing and take a recorded vote at least 45 days prior to the election,
If you don't wanna do
if
it.
you don't want to do it.
Well, if she's sending it with an existing mailing, I'm all for it then.
Please note that this applies only to vote by mail ballots and does not affect absentee ballots. Absentee voting will remain available to those who qualify. With an absentee ballot, you have to actively come in and ask, but if you're just registered to vote by mail, it just comes.
Right, and this is for the town election in May and not for the 2026 November election.
That I'm not certain of.
The way it was phrased, it sounded that way now.
In local elections, it just says the Mass state law allows cities and towns to opt out of no excuse early voting by mail in local elections as outlined, so
Right,
local elections.
so it might be
yeah,
both.
it-
Okay.
yeah,
And absentee would be if all of a sudden you say, oh my God, I'm gonna be in the hospital.
Or whatever.
Whatever,
Or,
yeah.
visiting granny or whatever, you know.
So it's gonna be an included mailer.
Yeah.
So we're all for it,
I'm all for it.
and we'll just let her know.
Okay.
And my computers. I don't know.
With that used computers having a problem.
No, this is brand new.
Oh, the brand new.
It's brand new, that's the problem.
Brand new. You put that in my cap.
That's what you need.
Town administrator updates.
The only thing I have, and I forwarded it to you, I have two things. There's a meeting that Sheffield is having, did you see that? I forwarded that to you with the, that they were having with the Southern Berkshire ambulance.
I'm trying to remember if Sheffield was.
So this is actually tomorrow,
I know, I just,
so
so
I can't remember if they were at that
SBA,
meeting either.
I can't remember if they were there. SBA had this, it was like a 2-hour meeting.
Yeah.
And you, like, a lot of towns were there. And I think Sheffield may not, I don't know if they were there or not, but like, how does this come as a shock to them? Like,
So they have a meeting scheduled, I don't know if they're just asking other members.
So
We
what's
already
the
went.
meeting? I don't know if I saw the email.
The meeting is basically to, Sheffield has a meeting scheduled with Southern Berkshire Ambulance to discuss the increase to assessments that were sent out. We already had that conversation with them.
I mean, I think
The select
basically
board
what
has
it really
invited
means
each
is they're not
district.
happy about the increase in the assessment, which, why would you be happy about it?
So I sent it out and I sent it back like last Thursday. I sent this email out, which included the assessment letter from
Yeah, you
Southern
did that,
Berkshire
right.
Ambulance. So I just wasn't certain if, because Susan and I went to the one that they had a month or so ago before this came out, before the assessment came out. And so I don't know if it's just gonna be the same meeting all over again. So that's why I wanted to just say that. The only other thing I had, was that
This is what Rhonda wrote, if you wanna see it,
Yeah.
it's right there.
I have the updated contract for, Eric Kincher.
Yeah, let's put it on the next one.
Put on the next one, if you can. Yep.
Cause he finally upped his rate.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it's like, I think basically they just want to, like, hold them
Treat it,
accountable.
well, hold them accountable, be like their school system.
I know, but they already had a big meeting and invited everybody to it. And I'm like, so now did you not go, or did you think about it and then decide you wanted to complain more? Like,
I don't know.
I don't know, I'm just saying, I have no desire to go on, but
While we're on unanticipated business, Eileen Marcus volunteered to be the representative. Yeah, did you see that, Susan?
Yeah.
Okay. Are we okay with that? I mean, I want to,
Okay with me.
that's a,
We would have asked more broadly, but it was such a tight timeline, and I thought that Kim was hopefully gonna serve from us.
yeah, that was the thing, I thought Kim was gonna be.
But they were clearly trying to not have it be school committee.
Right,
people-
that's,
so I'll send her a note back,
Okay.
saying it's okay. I'll reach out to Eileen,
So Eileen will serve as the school,
representative for selecting.
Yeah.
the superintendent on the superintendent search committee.
Right.
well, I mean, I didn't think she was gonna be around, I still think it's cool that she's still willing to step up for town stuff.
That's it. I don't have anything else.
Ern? I don't have anything else.
Yeah, that's school.
Minutes.
Minutes,
I'd rather
Yeah, make
not.
Can I do public and then I can go home?
Yeah.
sure.
Let's take a vote on
I
that.
have 2 things written down that
Are they comments or questions?
Just questions. So I just, after I wrote this down, I know that I just got my warrant, and I see that you've got stuff on there about the Curtis Road Bridge. Is there a schedule for the Curtis Road Bridge? Is that scheduled for this year? or-
2027.
2020, yeah.
It's not this year, it's next year.
Sorry, yeah, because we had a big meeting in the fall with all the,
Yeah,
half of the state in here explaining what they were doing.
It'll take two seasons effectively. It'll start towards the end of the summer, I think is what the timing was in 27, and then finish in 28.
they told me it would take 1 season. I have a letter from them.
I think- Yeah, I was always confused about that word season, because they did tell me that, at that meeting, they said, if we fully close the bridge, it'll take the end of the fall, and then they'll come back and finish it in the spring. That's what they told me.
Why not just start in the spring and finish in the fall?
That would be 28 then, because they can't get all of the different easements and everything done by the beginning of the.
So that means that for a whole winter, we're gonna be going around the back.
That's our understanding, yes.
That is not.
Ideal.
Yeah, but.
I would rather wait till the next year.
Yeah, but it's,
Yeah.
I mean, we had the engineers in here and they had a large group from the state. It wasn't like we had a choice, it was like they were telling us what it was, you know?
Yeah, I was here,
Yeah, I mean, you just
and
throw your arms up.
they said, write them a letter if you wanted to, so I did, and they answered me, and they did, I mean, they did.
What did they say when they answered you?
No, they did say it would be started in the spring and they would close, and then, if there'd be, the next year there might be, so the road would be open in the fall, and then come back the next spring and do, like side grading and things like that.
Hmm.
But it would not be closed over the winter.
That's our understanding, is it's gonna be closed, so.
Well, if
I
they can do it without
I
closing over the winter, that's
I'll
awesome.
take a work and I'll write it again. My other question is the Affordable Housing Trust. Are they gonna have an open meeting before the meeting?
Yes, it should be coming out in the Monterey News, but I believe it's the Thursday behind, hang on a minute. They're having their regular monthly meeting and it falls before the special town meeting, so give me one sec to see if I can find it.
I thought they were gonna have something where they invited the community, because I.
They are
there's a
on, through
lot
the
of-
Monterey News, but it's not out yet.
I know that.
That's how they're trying to get out of the public, but why don't we send out an email blast?
More than happy to, about when it is.
Yeah, once we find out.
Yeah, once we find out, I can't.
So that it's not fully reliant on Monterey News, because,
And it'd be on the town calendar.
yeah,
Are they
I'll put
gonna
it
have it
down.
here or there?
What's that?
Are they gonna have it over here or across the street?
Here,
I think they were gonna have it here.
I think they didn't really expect there to be a large turnout.
They could be surprised.
They could be,
you never know.
you never know. I think it's their.
Oh, public information session for proposed town bylaws, in case you're wondering about that, is Wednesday, the 21st at 6 to 7:30 PM.
Wednesday, 1:20,
Oh, right, it's on my little thing.
at when? 6 PM?
6 PM at the library,
That's,
on your home field.
That's
Or just
actually-
go downstairs and
that's-
sweat books at that kid.
And the housing working group is Wednesday, the 21st at 7. 21st.
So the same night,
that's the same day as the public information session for proposed town bylaws.
Which is at 6.
6 to 7:30 it said.
they ought to get together and make sure that's in the same place, so we don't have to
Would
move
you
our
say
cars
that?
and run all around the town.
Well,
No, it's.
I think it's already been publicized, so it's gonna be, if you wanna talk about bylaws, and then once that's wrapping up, come over here and talk about housing.
It ended up being, I can't speak for both committees, but I can tell you that, the bylaw committee had a terrible time finding a date where there was more than one person that was available. So, right, literally, right, like, and he like tried to pull them, they had to do it again, they had to offer different, and in the end, they had to pick the only date, they had more than one person. I know, I don't know what to tell you,
No.
but like,
Again, maybe the people are getting tired.
but.
Oh, they've been tired for like
They've
2
been
years,
tired.
but they're also not
Are they
available.
tired
They're
or
just not
retired?
available. They're like out of town or like have some other commitment every other day. Like, I don't know why people are so busy in January, but
Let's see, I've been in a meeting last night and tonight, and then I've got somebody coming to my house tomorrow to do work, and I have somebody coming to my house on Thursday to do something. Both of them sometime in the afternoon.
So Roger, actually, why don't you please just send out an email blast, explaining both. In theory, they should have been in a letter attached to the warrant, but we wanted to get the warrant out with as much notice as possible. And then we'll send out an email blast and put them both in the town calendar, is already.
What is already there? What, and theirs was the 7th.
And maybe just double check with Ken.
I'll talk to Ken, I usually see, he comes in every day.
See if they'd like to make it after
Maybe
the other
he'd be
one
a
and
good
stay in the same place, so we don't have to run around town, find a parking space.
yeah, well, you just walk.
I tried to get Steve to do it, but
I did ask.
I don't like to walk down the
He's
road here in
happy.
the
In the
night.
dark, no winter.
Yeah,
I don't know what you're talking about.
there are cars on the roads now.
Yeah, I know, right?
All right, good night, it's good meeting.
Thank you.
Minutes, are we to minutes?
Uh,
Did you have
well-
another thing? Frank?
Well, the only thing I got was Ken's email to us. the
I didn't get an
select-
email from Ken.
You didn't get this?
I don't think so.
It's the, about the, undersized lots, minimal practical impact on
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, on Sunday morning?
And that reminds me,
tiny
so
houses. I told him he had things against tires.
Ken, actually, I
You
was
didn't
talking
get
to
this?
two, he asked if we were willing to do a meeting between us, the planning board and the housing committee, all three.
Yeah.
To talk about this stuff and what, like, where.
Yeah, I saw him,
things are
I
going.
gave him some grief about it.
What do you mean?
No, I just mentioned it.
But I mean, I think it's probably a good idea, because like.
Yeah, but the one thing I told him that I didn't feel like that was, is that he talked about undersized lots. But he didn't talk about lots that didn't have the 200 feet of roadside out in front.
Non-conforming.
Yeah, see that, we thought about, when we built the garage, we thought about putting an apartment upstairs. But we're 25 feet short. And then, when I talked to Don, you gotta go through the plan, you gotta do all the drawing, he says you're talking a year and a half. I said,
That's a really good point, though, because
there's a lot
the
of,
frontage issues are like. what is
but Ken
it
didn't wanna push everything.
Non-conforming lots,
Yeah, but he talked about it in
acreage,
acreage
but there's
versus.
also
See,
lots that have the
He
acreage
goes,
that
well, we're
don't
not
have.
trying to go for everything. I'm like, well, you
Maybe
might-
not, but it's important, because those are ones that are actually where it might make sense to have another,
Mhm. Well, we can talk about it when we have a meeting, but to me, I think, I talked to him this morning about it when I saw him. I said, well, you forgot this part, and,
what do you say?
well, we're not trying to get everything at once. But I think you're talking about lot size, so why wouldn't you include that?
I didn't think it
I
probably.
thought there was something about that, though.
I didn't see it. I talked to him
The
this
seasonal
morning.
communities. I forwarded, last week, the seasonal communities back on the 7th. And I printed it out and gave it to them for their meeting. The seasonal communities, what do they call it? Commission, whatever it is, the seasonal communities
Did
advisory
you get this?
council.
Right.
They put out a annual report, which had a lot of information, a lot of
I didn't
general
realize it was from
information.
Ken. I mean, it was Sunday morning.
And talks
He
about
sent
all
it.
that stuff.
He-
I
for
thought
some
there was
reason he
something
sent
in
it
there
to
about
her.
non-conforming lots or something.
People do that.
But I emailed it back on the 7th. if you want.
It's back on access to this road law.
It's,
I'll show you.
subject to
maybe
seasonal
next week, I'll
community
just show you where it is and how to get in the garage.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So when do we wanna do a meeting?
I'm flexible. I can do
The
that.
planning board and the housing? Did Ken put that in his email too?
No, he
He
didn't.
just mentioned to me on the phone, right, as I was like, I was talking to him on the
Well,
phone.
send, ask him to send his schedule, what days are they meeting,
And as you were texting, I was walking, trying to get my coat on and walk out the door while talking on the phone to Ken. Because I called what I thought was his number earlier today, and it turned out he gave up his landline. It was some insurance agency. I was like, well, I gotta reemail him.
Did you remember it was at 5:30?
Yeah, I did, I was.
Yeah, it was on my way.
I thought I was gonna show up.
No, it's happened.
Very well, I know I forgot the last time we did it, you had to call me, so.
All right,
I have to do on my calendar.
are we into minutes?
Wait, are we setting a date or what are we doing?
For the meeting with them?
Maybe we
There's too
should
many
just-
people.
Yeah, it's too many people. We should
Set a
reach out
meeting
to them
ourselves.
and.
Well, we should put it on paper. or
The
copy
planning
it.
board usually meets Thursday.
Yeah, the second.
So Tom
Second.
isn't always around at the beginning of the week.
Right.
And I know the planning board has a lot of complex schedules, so maybe we should put it on them and we say we'll show up.
Right.
I would put it on the planning board simply
Yeah.
because if you want Tom to be part of it as the chair,
Great.
it's probably best to work it around that
Yeah,
day
I
they
think so.
meet. Because of
Yeah.
other
Some
scheduling
meeting
issues he
next
has.
week.
And we're pretty flexible on the
Yeah.
meetings, so.
So what happens if I'm away
I was gonna say.
and my wife and I are both members, who gets, I have to sign on separately?
Yeah,
You don't,
No, I'm just messing,
I
it's
mean-
a joke. I'm sitting upstairs.
there's,
So like, is it
the
there,
meeting didn't.
Now what if you vote
we don't
different
think
ways?
That was last week, so it must be next week. Wait, what
I'll
was
sleep
that?
upstairs and she can sleep downstairs.
If they vote different. If they don't vote-
Oh dear.
Are we talking about CPA? No,
Well,
I don't think so.
alright.
Alright,
Minutes?
I read, the edit forms, I'm fine with the one, we're just doing January 6th.
January 7th.
I'm fine with it.
no, no allusion to the national event.
Yeah,
Okay, that was all.
Motion to approve the January 6th minutes as amended.
second it.
We'll call a vote.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yes.
Unanimously approved. Anything else before we adjourn? Motion to adjourn.
yeah,
We'll
Second,
call a vote.
yeah.
yes,
Yes, that's unanimous vote to adjourn at 7:01 PM.
kind of early.
You can stay here for another hour.
Here's my question. What was? That's still on, right?
Yeah, hold on.
sorry. Oh, I got my thing over here, I keep forgetting.